Hi, my name is Ada Wells. Welcome to the ProBalance PT podcast. What I'd like to do is show you a great little couple of exercises that are wonderful for if you're sitting at a desk or you have a countertop that you can do just to kind of create a little bit of movement around your shoulders and your hips and even your spine a little bit. There's a variation that we can do there that assists with that. So first of all, it's something that you can actually do on the ground, on the floor, which would be more advanced, but we're going to do this version up on the countertop, which will still feel just as great. So first of all, let's position our bodies correctly. So I'm going to have you step back such that your body is in a straight line. So if you've got the booty out and the ribs shear forward, this is not going to be a neutral spine position here. So we want to make sure that the ribs and the pelvis are basically stacked on top of one another. And the head, we don't want the head forward, but the head is going to be stacked once again right on top so that your ear basically is over your shoulder, okay? And then when we bring attention to where the elbows are in space here. So if I were to hyperextend my elbows, this pretty much shuts off my shoulder girdle, and those muscles that are around the shoulder have to work much harder, and that can lead to overuse problems. So we're going to put the shoulder in a good position. So instead of being hyperextended, we're going to think about that inside of the elbow. Both of the insides of the elbow are going to look at each other, and then you're going to create just a touch of softness. So it's almost like with the knees. We tell people to, try to avoid locking your knees. So we're just going to keep those elbows soft, just like you would keep your knees soft, okay? So from here, let's just feel the contrast of where our shoulder blades are in space. So if I were to allow the shoulder blades to come together and then allow them to come apart, we now are going into together would be shoulder retraction and apart is shoulder protraction. So do this a few times just to feel the contrast without any other spine part moving. Notice how my head is still staying in that same relationship to the spine. So then you're going to do that, and maybe from that retracted position, come out about maybe halfway, okay? And this is going to be more of your neutral position of your shoulder blades. So we're going to maintain that. We still have our soft elbows looking at each other. And from here, we're going to go ahead and just do a little hinge of the hip joint, okay? And so now from this hinge of the hip joint, where my knees are bent, we're just going to go ahead and hinge right back into that plank, all right? So it's a hinge at the hips and knees, and then back up. And see if you can do this without creating any additional movement in your spine. So what I mean by that is when we come down into this sort of bent knee position, watch that you're not in this spinal flexion position, which, by the way, if you have low bone density, that position would be very bad for your bones, okay? So we're just basically down here at this bottom position. It's almost as though someone could put a little drink on my back here. My ears are, I'm trying to line up my ears between my shoulders, watching that my head isn't dropping down, okay? So we can work on that little hinge back and forth. To take it one step further, let's go ahead and we're going to be in that hinge. The knees are bent. We're going to then straighten the knees without changing the spine position and relax the knees. So it's a straighten and a bend. All right. Now, if that feels okay for you, and you can do that well, we're going to keep the knees fairly straight if you can, keeping the headlights of your pelvis facing straight down towards the floor so the pelvis stays down. That little imaginary drink is still on our back. We're going to take one leg and just float it back such that we try to allow that right leg or the one leg to float up without the pelvis moving. So we should still be balancing that drink right on our back, okay? And then bring it right back down. We can do that on either side, and just take notice, if you rotate the pelvis, you're going to spill your drink, okay? And you will not feel as much of the strength and the work occurring in that standing leg. Take note of where your head is in space while you're doing this. So it's really a full body exercise. And then we can come right on out. So that's a really great way to start really working on, like I said, getting that flexibility and mobility through the shoulders, knowing where your head is in space, and creating a little bit of stretch in the back, all right? You could do, if you do not have any problems with low bone density and you wanted to do something a little bit with a little more dynamic articulation, you can actually from the top start with peeling down one vertebra at a time and then unfurl up, kind of like you're kind of doing an angry cat stretch. So you could actually just sort of float it right into that little articulation if you wanted. Once again, that would not be an appropriate variation if you have low bone density. Okay, then just turning it right around, we're going to place the hands behind you, and now we're kind of in this reverse plank position. So make sure that the shoulders are not sitting here in front of you, but you're really trying to open sort of this little area up in the front, okay, and maintaining that. And all we're going to do here is we're just going to allow the spine to flex forward. Notice that my head is staying in the same relationship to my spine, and we're just going up and down. Okay, my knees are straight. If you have really hypermobile knees and they tend to hyperextend, you may need to want to have them very soft. So there's just a touch of, maybe it's almost like someone put a little puff of air on the knees so they're not hyperextending here. Okay, but in this position, we're just really working on, can you keep that sense of openness through the elbow, through the shoulders while you're moving back and forth. And these two exercises, like I said, are just great for being able to bring that awareness of where your body is in space. And afterwards, it's actually a little bit of a workout just doing that bit. So the further out your body is in relation to gravity, so if you're out here, this is going to be more challenging, both on more on the core stability side. It may be a little easier when you're doing the leg portion of it. Okay, so from a mobility standpoint on the bottom end, further away. So you can play around with that a little bit, see what it feels like in your body and where you feel like you're getting the most work. Okay, so until next time, hope you enjoy these couple of little desk exercises.